Luciano, I guess one of the worst nights at the office I can imagine for you as a coach. Just what can you say after that?
Just trying to take in the result. Of course, it's something still raw in terms of what happened out there, and trying to dissect it into a few words. It's difficult, but I think it's been a challenging week. I'll be honest. Unfortunately for us, it's an acceptable performance. To lose by 8-1 for us, it just can't happen. It's a result that we can't recognise in the context of where we are. So it's disappointing, and we're in the process at the moment, and so I think we have to work through, the challenges that we have at the club, and the club doesn't want to hide away from the reality of where we are, but we are prepared to do whatever we can to improve our situation on and off the field. But it's going to take a lot of hard work, and that's just the honest truth.
You mentioned the tough week it's been for the club, obviously, with Ross leaving. Were the boys' heads just not in it tonight? Were their boys' heads elsewhere?
Well, to be honest, we've had a couple of days where we've moved on, and the sessions were as they were, bright, energetic, and positive. So to say that the result was coming, it wasn't there beforehand. It didn't show any signs of that. So it was, again, the game started with us brightly, and then again, just think that the heads dropped, and defensively as a combined unit, we didn't do that.
I mean, what do you even say to the boys after this? How do you attempt to pick, because they've got a game next week, how do you pick them up and try to get them up for that?
Well, it's challenging, yes, it's not easy, but I think it's why we're footballers and we're involved in the game. It's that we have to remind ourselves that we have to back up a performance and improve from where we left off, and that's the only thing it's just you've got to bounce back. Setbacks are going to happen in the world of football, and it's just one of those weeks where now we have to show what type of people we are and what characters and personalities we have in order for us to continue and move forward.
Are you hoping to get some players back? I mean, there were obviously a few injuries in defence tonight. No Scott, no Corey. Have you got any update, I guess, on their statuses?
Well, Scott Neville looks like he's getting a little closer, so that might just add another experienced player at the back. As far as Burke Gilroy, he's still, a little bit way off. And I think it's just a case of just slowly getting some of these players in, But at the moment, that's where we are at the moment. So we just have to work with what we've got, and as much as we can all look at the result, and for me, one of the small highlights was Ryland Brownlee scoring his first goal in the A-League, and he typifies what we're looking for a Queenslander to represent Brisbane Roar. He's got so much potential and hunger and a desire that we want to make sure that holds itself, where we want to target those players to play for Brisbane Roar. So credit to him for today, and that's what it was.
We've seen the best from you guys this season, obviously, is far from this. Does that give you a bit of solace to realise that, look, yes, this is a really bad night, but we know what our best is, know that the best can be turned around quite quickly. Obviously, there's still a long way to go this season as well. Yeah.
Look, we've had some opening results which have been bright, and we've played football that at times can take a risk. But we have made a conscious decision that we're going to continue to play this way. So whether it's hard-headed or whether it's wrong or whether it's right, we believe that if we want to get a football team that wants to enjoy football, we have to be on the front foot. So I don't know how you want to describe it and how you want to put it, but it's going to take people that need to be presented in a way that, I'm up for it. And it's going to be on the edge, but that's the way it's going to have to be, or else it's something that, we've made a conscious decision to do that. So I think how we can rectify some of those mistakes at times can be something that we can adjust and talk and discuss and work on the pitch. But that's what it is, and obviously players have to know that they have to put in the work to be able to achieve that.
Because just following up from that, because obviously you look at the circumstances now, it's 3 games in a row defeated. Ross leaves midweek, this result tonight. Do you feel like the season, there is still something to be taken from this season? It's not just a write-off and you develop for next year, you can still make something, play finals, that sort of thing? Yeah,
we always will think about and we're in a competition that we always believe that we can be part of in the highest part of the competition, and being in the finals at top 6 for us where we are would be a fantastic result tonight, and the other 2 results didn't go our way, but it's something that now we have to rebuild and get ourselves back on track.
And tonight was the equal biggest loss in A-League history by any team. Is there a part of you that's also concerned that maybe the team the bottom may have fallen out quite early in the season? Is there a part of you that might fear that as well?
Yeah, but again, I think we've got to look at what's available at the team, within the team within that week, and the selection will determine that, of course, but it's also what's available for selection. So if we can get the right players to be able to be in those positions, and then we've got a chance to at least demonstrate the capabilities, but if we're obviously short in some of these areas, then we're going to be at that side of it where, it's going to be a fine line. And tonight, you're looking at a team like Melbourne City Melbourne City are a global corporation. They have resources beyond what an A-League club is. And I understand that because I've been there and I know what the resources and facilities are. But that's them. Us, Brisbane, we are what we want to do and be the best we can be in the environment and the place that we can be, and that is it. So, but Melbourne City is Melbourne City. We have to expect that. Unfortunately, we didn't expect a result, but they are a quality club that have all bases covered, and it's credit for them. But I look at it from a Brisbane Roar point of view, and I've come here understanding that the challenges are there. And as they are, yes, the league has 12 teams, but within the 12 teams, there is quite a bit going on between, what some other teams have got and what teams maybe are limited to. So I think it's important to put in the true context of this. And they're a very quality team. And you saw the finishing. So, hey, I understand that we're all sometimes disappointed about not getting the result. But sometimes you have to understand that we're playing Melbourne City, So that's what it is.
Is it almost a bit unfair, some of the advantages that City have?
Yeah, because they can call on resources globally to assist their program. And so therefore you're not up against 1 or 2 individuals. You're up against, a team and a club that's been modelled around, getting the right message across, details that are across all levels at the highest level. So, you're always going to be tested at the very best. So we were tested against a football club that has far more resources, but we'll still fight and we'll still compete.
And just obviously one of the most glaring aspects of tonight was just defensive organisation. Just it seemed every time on the counter, on transition, there was just no answers, were there?
No, that's right. And I think we broke forward, but it seemed like every time that we lost the ball, we had X amount of players up the field and we couldn't get back quick enough to stop, the counters. So for us, it was more around being prepared for the counter and being able to sort of understand that, at times that, we need to be focused around that part of the field.
Just one last one. You've spoken about the Queenslanders, but we had someone here who played in front of some, obviously Jonas Markovski playing in front of some very familiar faces. How have you seen, his progression? Obviously someone who emerged here on the scene in NPL, he's come into an A-League system, obviously taking some time, but have, you seen his progression over the last few months?
Well, he's probably had to adjust to a full-time environment, whereas, when you're playing at an NPL level, there are limitations to how far you can prepare yourself as an athlete And I think he's now understood, and many players in his, let's say, position that come from the NPL are always adjusting to what is required. You know, he's 24 now, and they're the things that sometimes when you're in that environment for a period of time, you get sort of caught up with, you know, that sort of 3-4 sessions a week, but without the recoveries, and then you're working. But being a full-time athlete, it is a total different. It's a life-changing situation where you have to totally commit to a professional environment, and an athlete, a full-time athlete, has to be mindful of what he does on and off the pitch, not what happens just when he's there. And that also takes time as well. So, but it was good for him to, you know, experience that step up into the A-League, but it is a tough one.
You opted to go for Matt Acton in goal tonight. I was just wondering, what was your decision making with that decision? Well,
Matty Acton, he had trained previously, you know, really well, had sort of got himself in a good position. And we thought at this stage where, you know, we had come off a couple of losses, thought maybe just to give Matty Acton an opportunity in goal. So, and that was the choice there.
Are you going to stick with him another game, you reckon? Or?
I will need to, again, that's a decision that needs to be made next week, but, you know, that's something that we can think about next week.